Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the Final Fantasy VII walkthrough. I'm actually going to do a really quick and really horrible Emerald weapon guide. The first thing I guess I would recommend doing, you actually don't have to do this if you're confident in your party's abilities. But if you're not, I would suggest coming down here into Junon, into the underwater reactor area. Even after you complete the events with the sub and whatnot, you can still come down here and kind of run around in this this tube, and you'll run into these enemies called ghost ships, and which this thing looks actually kind of cool. And here you'll want to morph it, and that'll get you the guidebook. Now, the guidebook, not too, obviously, if you notice there, not too difficult to obtain. As always, if you have issues or like your characters aren't very strong, you can always use percentage-based magic to try to reduce the HP. You know, again, though, the problem with that is I know that those casts don't always work on every enemy. I don't know if the ghost ships here are immune to it or not. Another another magic spell that's similar to that would be the enemy skill called Laser, and that will reduce an enemy's HP by half. So, again, I'm not actually 100% sure on whether or not that'll land or not on the ghost ship. I didn't even bother trying just because my characters were fairly beefy at this point, and I wasn't too worried about you know, taking a whole lot of time here just using the morph command over and over. So you don't need to. I don't really know why I ended up with two of them. I guess this playthrough was 100% like at least one of every item, and thus when you turn this actually in, you'll turn it into an NPC, and then obviously you'll lose the guidebook, but gain a piece of materia. So I'm betting that's why I did that. I don't know how far you can actually go in here, but I would say after you get the guidebook, just leave. Alright, so I'm not sure if you can actually even get into this room after the events at the sub. I don't know for sure, but unfortunately my video editing software is not cooperating with me yet again. So unfortunately I've got a little bit of extra footage here, so you can actually kind of get a feel, I guess, for where we're at. But again, I don't know. I don't believe that this area is actually, this specific screen anyway, is actually even available after we complete the submission, if that's, I guess if that's what you want to call it. But anyways, you get a good feel for where we're actually at in the game. You know, if you're having problems locating this place, basically you just go to Junon, and then there's a little area with some soldiers kind of practicing in the hallway, and there's an elevator there, and then you're able to ride the elevator down, and that'll take you to this area. So, anyways, let's actually cut to the I believe this is Calm, yeah. And so we need to track down the NPC that has the underwater materia. So the reason for doing all this, and I alluded to this at the beginning of the video, is that, you know, if you're super confident in, I guess, in yourself, and you think that you're able to defeat the emerald weapon before or within 20 minutes, you don't even need to do this part. So, you know, if you've got like Knights of the Round and it's all powered up, and you know, you're able to potentially cast it a couple of times, I would say maybe don't worry about this. I don't know if Ruby, or I keep saying Ruby weapon, or this is an Emerald weapon, but I don't know actually if Emerald weapon really does much to you in terms of counterattack. I think it does. I think it'll hack off some of your MP if you are over the course of the battle. So I don't know how viable Knights of the Round is. It should be. I don't think I bothered in this guide to do it, but it should at least help. But, alright, so anyways, we gotta find the Calm Traveler, and I'm in the wrong place. It probably took me a couple of buildings, running around each building to figure out where he's at. But once we actually get him, or get to him, we will be able to get the underwater materia from him. It's either this building or... Nope, it's not this one. Must be this one down here. I'm guessing this is the last place I checked. So far so good. This looks right. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so here he is. So this guy right here is the Calm Traveler. Now, the first thing that you can do with him is get this underwater materia. He talks a little. He alludes to some items here: the guidebook, the desert rose, and the earth harp. And so the guidebook, obviously, we already got that, and we'll trade. And he'll actually, I like how he just throws this on the ground. He won't even hand it to you. What a jerk. But, alright, so the other two items, the desert rose, and the earth harp, are actually obtained by defeating the ruby weapon and emerald weapon. And, I don't remember which one gives you which, but I'm betting the desert rose gives you... No, I shouldn't even guess. One of them gives you a gold chocobo, and the other one gives you a master command of all of the master commands. So there's 3 of them in the game, and there's master summon, master command, and master magic. So the optional bosses are definitely cool to beat. I usually don't turn in the items just so I can, you know, have them in my inventory still. And, I mean, frankly, I already have a gold chocobo at this point, so getting one from him isn't really going to help me out any. But, alright, so what I'm going to do here is actually kind of get all equipped here for taking down Emerald Weapon here. And to be honest, I didn't put a whole lot of effort into preparing myself. I was extremely overconfident in my abilities to take him down. I actually took down Ruby Weapon, I believe, first, so at some point here I'll get the video going for that as well. But just because of the way I have my footage set up, I'm doing this one first. But as always, I don't know how much ribbons really help with this battle. I don't know if Ruby, or sorry, gosh, I keep saying Ruby. Sorry, I don't know if Emerald Weapon even does any status effects. I don't think it does. But there's a couple of things that you need to know before you start. I mean, to be honest, like I said earlier, this is not going to be that great of a guide just because, again, I barely put any effort into beating him and then really preparing myself. There's just a couple of things that you need to know, I guess, about it. And one of them is, so he's actually a multi-part boss. And what I mean by that is after you hit him, and I don't know if it's a certain percentage of his health gets taken off, but he'll go into like a different, I guess they call it, form. And at that point, the little lights on his shoulders will light up. And I don't remember the AI on it, but I think when you hit him, they'll like retaliate, and like I think the yellow lights will take away your MP, and the blue lights will do some sort of damage to you. I am going to, I guess, use a limit break here. I don't know how. Whoops, miss on the end there. That's what I always try rushing her limit breaks for whatever reason, and I inevitably end up missing. I would say for this battle, though, I almost would say it's a good idea to have one character like designated for healing. And I guess if you feel confident, you can sneak in. Here's this is Emerald Shoot. Emerald Shoot is not that bad. I put up a barrier there. Sorry, big guard, I think it was. And here, if you notice, I'm just using White Wind mostly with Sid. That skill is pretty good, as long as you stay at a decent amount of HP. But really, if you're going to try to do this, if you notice here, so I've got the underwater materia equipped, so there's no time limit. But if you don't equip that that underwater materia, there'll be a 20-minute timer that starts right at the beginning. And if you notice there, that was a pretty brutal attack there. So when he switched forms there, he used that brutal attack. And Revenge Stomp triggers when you hit him with physical attacks. I don't actually know if it triggers off of magical attacks or not, but pew. So there's the blue beam. Yeah, 1,000. That's pretty weak. Like I said earlier, though, the yellow ones take off MP, so that can kind of get crappy. Unless you do kind of what I do, and I always do things super cheap, obviously, and I've got a bunch of mega elixirs, and I've got the W item command, so anytime I need to, I can just drop a mega elixir on the party and be sitting pretty again. Here, if you notice, so Sid died, and I spent a little bit of time at the gold saucer, and I actually did the secret duel, and that's how you get the final attack materia. And the final attack materia, if it wasn't already obvious, or if you don't know what it does, it activates the materia that's paired with it when the character dies. And so I've actually got the final attack materia on everybody, and then I've got it paired up with a Phoenix, on everybody's. Now, you don't have to have it paired up with Phoenix. You can pair it up with Revive, and it'll essentially do the same thing. Phoenix just is kind of a nice one because it does fire damage to all the enemies, as well as restores any dead allies. So I prefer Phoenix. If you don't have that, or you don't have a bunch of extra Phoenixes laying around, that can be a bit of a problem. But I would say, as far as preparation for this battle goes, I think final attack is pretty awesome. You don't absolutely need that. If you stay on top of your healing, it shouldn't be an issue. But it can get a little hairy though if you're not paying attention. And if you notice here, so like Cloud is only at 5,000 health. I had a bunch of extra HP plus materials just laying around. There was really no reason why I should have had one of those equipped. So not really, or a couple of them equipped. I'm not really sure why I didn't do that, but them's the breaks, and that's just what I did. The one attack this guy has that I haven't seen yet is Materia Storm, or it's actually Air Tam Storm. It's Materia spelled backwards. And I actually haven't seen him use that yet, so we'll see if he actually ends up busting that out. But as always, limit breaks are going to be awesome for this fight. Anytime you can get Omni Slash going, you're going to be good. You're going to be golden. Another thing that actually will really help you out on this is having your characters in the Fury status. Now, that's a double-edged sword. Yeah, your limit break fills up faster, but it also makes your character miss more. So that's up to you on whether or not you think it's useful. I actually like it. I'm not really sure why I didn't do it. Mostly actually because I, again, was not very well prepared for this fight. But this is, to be honest, this is just a cheesy way to keep going. Again, with those final attack materials and paired up with Phoenix, you can just be super sloppy like this, and you just don't even, really have to try that hard. So I guess when I say I didn't do a whole lot of preparation for this fight, that's not that accurate, because to be frank, leveling up final attack materials and Phoenixes is time consuming. I would say that if you want to do that, definitely level those materials inside the final dungeon. Little known fact, I shouldn't say little known, it's widely known now. But you can actually leave the final dungeon once you enter it, so you can kind of run around there, and there's a bunch of enemies that are really, really good for AP and just kind of building up your material. So when I say I wasn't well prepared for this, that's not 100% accurate. I've got a lot of time put into these characters and in my materia, so not entirely accurate. But anyways, like I said, the limit breaks are always really good. Multi-hit, to be honest, Tifa's limit break is not that great. And the other thing is her weapon isn't that great in here either. Unfortunately, I have her equipped with the premium heart, and that makes it so that it gets more powerful as your limit break increases, but once you use your limit, the power drops off significantly. So if you noticed earlier, she was only hitting for like 600 to 800, which is pretty atrocious. So not the wisest choice of characters, but Tifa always is pretty much in my party. So I think it took me until this playthrough to realize that she's not that great. And unfortunately, that's just because of her limit break plus her final weapon. I just don't like how it works. So, unfortunately, but that's just the way it is. So, anyways, if you notice here, I've got I actually do have her equipped with 4x Scud. I probably should have had that equipped on somebody else too, like Cloud. He could have, you know, probably got a lot more done with that. But again, them's the breaks. So I'm just getting healed back up here with White Wind. To be completely honest, that was kind of a waste. And I say that because I had infinite Mega Elixirs at this point. So, you know, if you want to keep yourself healed, that's the way to go, frankly. So, boom, boom, boom. There we go. So there, now she's hitting 9,999, but that's because her limit's all the way full. Now, unfortunately, though, I can't use her physical attack now until I use the limit break. So, again, unfortunately, that's just the kind of a crummy way that it was kind of a perfect storm for Tifa and how her, you know, limit break works, plus her weapon. You know, it's not a good situation. If we would have had some sort of option to choose whether or not to use the limit or, you know, continue attacking, then it would have been good, kind of like the way Final Fantasy VIII does it. But you know, again, unfortunately, that's not how this game works. So yeah, too bad, so sad. But anyways, all right, so let's bust out Omni Slash again. I think if I would have had Mime on Cloud, I probably could have mimed his, actually, don't quote me on that, I probably shouldn't have even brought that up. I can't remember if you can actually mime your own limit breaks or not. I feel like you can. I feel like that was one of those cool things that I learned about the game, but I don't know that I've ever actually done it. Okay. Yeah, I had to look that up again. You actually can mime your own limit break. Now, unfortunately, though, only that character can. So, you know, like Tifa can't mime Cloud's Omni Slash. That would be way too cool. There's Final Heaven. Do it. Boom. All right. All right. So we're getting pretty close to the end here. I kind of wish I would have used Sense on him just to check on how much HP he had, but actually, you know what, now that I think, well, I don't think you can. I think I tried that on, the Ruby weapon, and it's, I think, immune to Sense, and I'm betting Emerald is as well. But, yeah, so anyways, it's not looking like he's going to use Materia Storm now. I don't know if that's because I'm not using any magic attacks on him. That's my guess. But, yeah, that can be kind of an icky ability as well. Now, there is actually one more way to do a lot of damage to him, and that's with the 7-7-7-7 method. 7-7-7-7, yeah, 7-7. 4 sevens. Anyways, lucky sevens as it's normally called. Is that Big Brawl? Love that skill. But yeah, so lucky sevens, you can do a lot of damage to him with lucky sevens. Now, I actually have my character set up right now so that my Chocobo. So I've run away 1,111 times. So what that means is that my Chocobuckle does 1,111 damage, which means that if a character has 9,999 health, I can use Chocobuckle twice on that character, and it'll automatically put them into lucky sevens, which is pretty cheap and pretty amazing. But I didn't want to do that with this battle. Thought it was just a little too cheesy, but you know, I don't know. I guess you can argue whether that's more cheesy than final attack and Phoenix on everybody and kind of just, you know, cruising through this all sloppy. But you know, that was how I decided to do it. So whether or not that's a good thing or not, up to you. But yeah. Anyways, now I don't know though. So I'm using Phoenix Flame, and he is getting hit by that. So I'm not really sure. This must not be activating his Materia Storm. All right, so I did actually a bunch of reading on airtams. So apparently, it's basically all of the lights have to be active, and then it has to use Emerald Beam twice. There's some other ways to trigger it too, but I'm not really gonna go into them. Basically, if you don't want to get hit by it, make sure you at least take out one of the lights during this phase. So. Yeah, but other than that, so I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, he does have a million HP. So, you know, it's going to take you a while to hack through. Oh no, owie. Boom. Ooh. Missed Cloud, luckily. Alright, let's get some Mega Elixirs going here. We gotta be getting really close here too. He's gotta be about toast. Alright. The double Mega Elixir, by the way, is completely pointless, but I was just lazy and I didn't want to select another item. Boom! Here we go. This will be the kill shot. Kill shot with Omni Slash. Unfortunately, he doesn't... or he's really low on HP, so these aren't going to hit for 9,999, but that's okay. He's still doing a ton. So this should be it. Boom! Do it! Do it! Alright, so that's it. That is Emerald Weapon, the lazy way, the Michael way. Anyways, alright, I hope this guide was at least somewhat helpful. And as always, hope you join me for more videos. Thanks for watching.